Behave.
You'll behave. Thank you. Hey, I'm going to call the meeting to order, this meeting to order today at just after 2 p.m. It's 2:01. But before we get going, Chair Krupa would like to make an announcement to the board. So Chair Krupa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Jack. I really appreciate that. And I just want to let all of you know, and I can hear somebody's feedback on there. I'm not chairing today, mainly because, well, I can't multitask too well today. I had breast cancer surgery on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
And while my prognosis is excellent, I still am on some medication, but I'm okay. I just want everybody to know that I am okay. I am a survivor. And like I said, my prognosis is extremely good. But I did want to say to all of you, women and all of you men also, that breast cancer happens to 1 in every 4 women. So please, please tell your loved ones, remind them that early detection and awareness of your body, getting your mammograms is so important. This came as a complete shock to me, but it's so real. And while we're dealing with COVID, we tend to put other things off. And I know a lot of women are hesitant about going and getting their mammograms and getting their checkups and everything, but it's so important. Please remind your loved ones, men and women, to continue with all of the tests you need to get, all of the awareness of your body, all of the changes. It's so important. I was really hesitant to talk to people about this prior to my surgery. Now I just want to shout it to the world. Early detection and awareness is the key to survival. So thank you, Zach, for letting me say that. Thank you, Larry, for allowing me to do that. And now I'll just sit back and listen to the rest of you. And Zach, take it over. Thank you.
Linda.
God bless and Godspeed, Linda.
Linda, before you do that, I think I can speak for the whole group. You're in all of our prayers, and we wish you the very, very best for recovery.
Thank you so much.
Speedy recovery, Linda.
Thank you.
We love you.
We do.
Take care, Linda. This way. We'll pray for you.
Thank you very much, Chair Krupa. You're definitely in our hearts and our thoughts and prayers, so we wish you a speedy recovery. So thank you. All right, having said that, we will now be starting this meeting. So thank you for joining the regular meeting of the Board of Directors on Thursday, February 25th, 2021. Before we begin with today's business, please ensure that you're in a quiet environment with no background noise. Please mute your phone until called upon by the chair or the clerk to speak. To ensure we have an organized opportunity for everyone to speak, I will call upon each group separately. When your group number is called, please announce your name, then proceed with your comments or questions. I will ask the public to speak after the board. Once called upon to speak, please unmute your device, then speak. Please remember to place your phone back on mute after speaking. And then, Joan, would you please read the special notice since we're still in this virtual setting?
Yes. On March 4, 2020, Governor Newsom proclaimed a state of emergency in California as a result of the threat of COVID-19. Public gatherings are to be limited. Further, on March 18, 2020, Governor Newsom temporarily suspended the Brown Act requirements pertaining to telephonic conferencing of local government meetings and the requirement to have at least one physical location available to the public for the purposes of attending the meeting. As such, RTA has opted to conduct the February 25, 2021 meeting via teleconference.
Thank you very much, Joan. Will you now please take the roll call?
Yes. City of Banning.
Here. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong answer.
Here.
That's habit.
City of Beaumont.
Here.
City of Calamasa.
Here.
City of Canyon Lake.
Here.
City of Corona.
Here.
City of Eastvale.
Here.
City of Hemet.
Here.
City of Harupa Valley,
Here.
City of Lake Elsinore,
Here.
City of Menifee,
Here.
City of Moreno Valley,
Here.
City of Murrieta,
Here.
City of Norco,
Here.
City of Paris,
Here.
City of Riverside,
Here.
City of San Jacinto,
Here.
City of Temecula,
Here.
City of Wildomar,
Here.
County of Riverside District 1,
Here.
County of Riverside District 2,
Here.
County of Riverside District 3,
Here.
and County of Riverside District 5.
Here.
Chair, you have a quorum. Participants, please remember to remute your device.
Thank you very much, Joan. I would now like to invite everyone to please stand, and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United States of
America
and to the
and the
republic
republic
for which
for which
it
it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
one
under
nation,
God, indivisible, with liberty and
liberty
justice for
and
all.
justice for all.
Thank you all. You may be seated. We'll now move on to item number 4, which is public comments for non-agenda items. Joan, please read the directions for public comments.
Members of the public may address the board regarding any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. However, no action may be taken on off-agenda items unless authorized by law. Comments shall be limited to matters not listed on the agenda. Members of the public may comment on any matter listed on the agenda at the time that the board considers that matter. Each person's presentation is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes.
Hey, thank you very much, Joan. Have we received any requests to speak in writing today?
Yes, Chair. I received a request from Keith White, who asked his comment be read by staff.
Perfect. Will you please read Keith White's comment?
Yes. Dear RTA board members, I have some great news. On Sunday, February 21, 2021, I walked almost 2 blocks before I got tired and had to sit back in my wheelchair. Please pray that I can get out of this wheelchair. I know RTA has been there for me even when I was in the hospital. I have an IHSS worker who is going to help me get out of this wheelchair. I will also be attending RCC this fall for a career program to help get a job. I have a ticket to work from Social Security, and I can't wait to start school to get retrained since my disability changed. RTA will be playing a big part in getting me back and forth from school. I will keep you updated. Sincerely yours, Keith White, RTA passenger. And Chair, we also have Arturo Aguilar on the line that would like to make a comment.
Absolutely. Arturo Aguilar, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Board. Madam Chair, you're in our prayers on behalf of the ATU for a speedy recovery. This is more directed toward Mr. Rubio, as my understanding was there was a miscommunication once again from my treasurer. For the new board members, welcome aboard. For those existing board members, you know me. When we make a mistake, we correct it. I apologize to Mr. Rubio for any misinformation that may have happened in the last board as far as the microtransit and for allegedly him making a comment to negotiate. He did not make that comment. Unfortunately, my officer that made the comment is on a personal leave right now, but otherwise he'd be on this call as well. But I just wanted to reach out to Mr. Rubio as we have a very good working relationship. As all of you will see, for the newcomers, we will be reaching out and trying to establish a working relationship. But Mr. Rubio, I apologize on behalf of the ATU, and hopefully any issues that arose during your session will be cleared up as of now, and we'll be able to work and continue to work together in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. And Mr. White, we always appreciate your voice and your comments as well. So thank you for that. Is there anyone else on the line that would like to make a comment today that are items that are not listed on the agenda? Okay, I'm not hearing and I'm not seeing any raised hands. So the public comment portion for items not listed on the agenda is now closed. And although the group assignments haven't changed since January meeting, Joan, would you please read the board member group assignments?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Group 1, Linda Krupa, Alberto Sanchez, Ray Santos, Linda Molina, Bridget Moore, and Alonzo Ledesma. Group 2, Jeremy Smith, Jim Steiner, Timothy J. Sheridan, Dean Deans, Scott Vinton, and Zach Schwenk. Group 3, Jocelyn Yao, Brian Berkson, David Marquez, Ted Hoffman, Malcolm Corona, and Andy Melendrez. Group 4, Karen Spiegel, Jerry Sinsich, Michelle D'Armond, and Art Welch.
Thank you very much for that, Joan. Next, we'll move on to item number 5, which is approval of the minutes for the January 28th, 2021 board meeting. Is there anyone that'd like to make a comment on those minutes? Okay, hearing none. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
So moves, Canyon Lake.
All right, Joan, did you get to, I thought I heard San Jacinto and Canyon Lake.
Yes, Chair Schwenk.
Thank you. Are there any no's?
Harupa Valley, I'll abstain.
Moreno Valley abstention?
Harupa Valley.
Sorry.
Valley.
We have a Harupa Valley abstention. Are there any other abstentions? All right, that item passes. Next is item number 6. This is our consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar will be approved by one motion, and there will be no discussion of individual items unless a board member or member of the public requests a specific item to be pulled from the calendar for separate discussion. Does any board member from Group 1 wish to pull an item for discussion? Does any member of Group 2 wish to pull an item for discussion? Does any board member from Group 3 wish to pull an item for discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair. Moreno Valley.
What item would you like to pull?
6L, I have several questions.
Okay, let's pull that. Does anyone from Group 4 wish to pull an item before discussion? Does any member of the public wish to pull an item for discussion? All right, hearing none, we will go ahead and I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar minus 6L, and then we'll circle back to that. I have a motion for that.
Moreno Valley.
Moreno Valley first. Who was the second?
Corona.
And then Corona second. Are there any no's? Are there any abstentions? All right, seeing that item passes. Thank you very much. Now 6L, we have maybe just a brief staff report. Do you need a staff report, or are you okay just asking your question?
I do have the staff report, and that's where I'm reading these questions from.
Okay.
I
go
have
ahead.
for staff. On 6L, on the authorization awarded agreement, there's been a statement says that historically the agency has fared well with rebuilt transmissions. I don't know who this would go to, Larry, but and it says that we've had good performance. The same company is going to that we are going to award this contract. Are they the same company that's referred to in this comment?
Thank you, Director Marquez. This is Larry Rubio. I'm going to defer that question to the procurement department, and that'll be Natalie Zaragoza.
Thank you.
Director Marquez. Yes, that is the same company. We've had Western States now for a couple of contracts.
Thank you. Second question, on the limit of repairs, I look at the average amount, $5,000, with the 10% contingency. The $53,000 that we have on the 10%, is that through the whole contract, the 3-year contract, for the total amount of whatever it is, $500,000, $600,000? Is that $57,000 for that whole contract?
Correct. That's to be spread out through all of the entire rebuilds we're doing, 114.
And my next question is what's the limit on these repairs? The reason I'm asking, this is my pet peeve. This is what I worked on for 30 some years. My question is this, what's the limit on once we open the transmission up for hardware, the hardware that's not part of the quote? What's the cost limit that we're going to allow before we decided it's not worth rebuilding?
I think I'll defer that to our Director of Maintenance if he is on this call.
Yes. Thanks, Natalie. Thank you, Director Marquez. What is going to constitute the hard parts is just that some of the hard parts are not going to be in quality condition, and therefore the contingency is what's necessary to be able to cover those. To answer your question about whether that transmission is going to be rebuildable or not, the case in itself is what's going to cause that transmission not to be able to be rebuilt. At this point, the cases are in quality condition that they will be able to be rebuilt. So we have no concerns that we will not be able to rebuild any of these transmissions.
Okay. And last but not least, we have a 1 year warranty on these transmissions from the rebuilder. Does that include them pulling the engine back or transmission back out and replacing it, installing it, or is that going to fall on us?
No, sir. That will be that we'll send the bus back to them. They'll remove the transmission, do the necessary repairs, reinstall the transmission, and road test.
Okay, and with that, what you're saying is all these 114 buses, we're going to ship the whole bus to them. They're going to R&R the transmissions and then ship back to us, or is just we're going to R&R them, send the transmission to them, and then we'll install them.
That's correct. We have 2 swing transmissions that we will install into the bus, sending the defective transmission to them to be rebuilt.
Okay, and then if it's a defected or within that 1 year, we'll take the bus to them and they will provide the labor and the repairs, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, that's what I was concerned about. Okay, thank you, staff, and thank you, Larry. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions or comments on 6L? And if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I will make that motion.
Okay. We have a first. Any seconds out there?
Calamasa seconds.
Calamasa second. Are there any noes? And are there any abstentions? All right, thank you very much. That motion passes. I'm going to move on to item number 7 now, which is our regular calendar. Approval to extend the fiscal year FY 2020 Low Carbon Transit Operations Program, LCTOP, free fares for youth and college students program through July 31, 2022. May we have a staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Vice Chair Schwenk, members of the board. My name is Kristen Warsinski, and I'm the Director of Planning. The Cap and Trade Low Carbon Transit Operations Program, or LCTOP program, is one of several programs that was established by Senate Bill 862 in 2014. It is a formulaic program and is funded by continuous appropriations of 5% of the yearly earnings of the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. This program is administered by Caltrans in coordination with the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, and the State Controller's Office. The main focus of this program is to provide capital and operating assistance to transit agencies with the goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions and improving mobility with an emphasis on disadvantaged communities. When Director Moore took over as chair, she had a vision of providing free transit for youth and college students and directed staff to pursue a grant to fund this effort. Staff identified LCTOP as a potential funding source, and on April 23, 2020, the RTA board unanimously approved the filing of the FY20 LCTOP application in the amount of $2,589,270 for the Free Fares for Youth and College Students program. This program provides free fares for passengers 18 and under and college students who are part of our Go Pass or U-Pass program. The agency was awarded the full amount in June of 2020, and the program started on August 1st. The program is currently scheduled to run through June 30th of this year. Ridership for the program has not been as high as originally projected due to the pandemic. In order to continue using this funding for its intended purpose, Staff is proposing to extend the end date from June 30th, 2021 to July 31st, 2022. Due to the uncertainty surrounding the pandemic and the effects on student ridership and enrollment, it's difficult to project exactly how long this funding will last. However, staff believes the benefits of extending free fares through July 2022 outweighs the potential long-term financial constraints of elimination of GO-Pass and U-Pass agreements and riders not returning to public transit. Staff will continuously monitor fund status and report to the board on a quarterly basis. An updated resolution authorizing the extension of this program is required and attached to the staff report. If approved, the agency would submit the resolution and required corrective action plan, or CAP, to Caltrans for approval to extend the program. As of February 1st, 2021, there's approximately $2,464,000 remaining for this program. It's in an interest-bearing CalTrust account. If this extension is approved, the agency would draw $1.75 per youth or college student ride until July 31st, 2022, or until all funds have been expended. Assuming ridership returns to 70% of 2019 levels for youth and college students, staff estimates 1,398,288 trips would be taken by these passengers. Without this program, this many trips would result in $1,155,823 in fare revenues based on 2019 average fare per youth and college student. With this program, the agency would collect approximately $2,448,755 in fare revenues. This item was discussed at the Board Executive Committee meeting on January 28, 2021. The committee members unanimously approved and recommended this item to the full Board of Directors for their consideration. The recommendation before you is to authorize the extension of the FY20 LC Top Free Fares for Youth and College Students program through July 31st, 2022. Approve resolution number 2021-02 and authorize the board chair to execute the resolution on behalf of the agency, and to authorize the chief executive officer or assigned designee to file a CAP requesting a program extension through July 31st, 2022. Vice Chair Schwenk, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions or comments from Group 1 on this item? Are there any questions or comments from Group 2 on this item? Are there any questions or comments from Group 3 on this item? And Group 4, are there any questions or comments from Group 4? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move to any questions or comments from the general public on this item.
I have not received any requests, Chair.
Thank you very much, Joan. Is there anyone on the line that would like to make any comments? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve item number 7.
Wildemar moves.
Wildemar moved. Do I have a second? Is that Sandacena second? All right. Do we have any no's? And are there any abstentions? All right, hearing none, that item passes. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to item number 8, which is approve the Mount San Jacinto College Go-Pass program, pricing structure and program requirements, and authorize extension of current agreements with Cal Baptist University, La Sierra University, and the University of California, Riverside through July 31st, 2022, and with the Riverside Community College District through the fall term 2026 term. May we have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Chair Schwenk. Members of the board, my name is Jim Neepkins and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer. And board approval of the previous item, extending the LCTOP free ride program, results in the need for contract amendments for all of our college partners. And as you can see, that's what this item covers. And I'll kind of give a brief overview of what we plan to do with the colleges. As you know, that the agency partners with all 4 community colleges and the 3 universities in our service area with programs that provide unlimited rides to all students on the fixed route buses as well as the commuter link. So to summarize, the Go-Pass program includes students at Mount San Jacinto College and the Riverside Community College District. And at the Riverside Community College District, as you know, that includes Moreno Valley College, Norco College, and Riverside City College. Generally, this program is financed by student fees during the fall, spring, and summer terms. And then the UPass, which came from the University Pass, covers the Cal Baptist University, La Sierra University, and UC Riverside agreements. This program is generally funded by the universities, who pay us on a per boarding basis with a maximum calendar monthly cap applied to each student, and that cap currently is $45. We use the cost of a UPass. At UCR, the staff and faculty also ride free, but the university reimburses us for those trips. So I'll get into that a little bit. So quickly to cover Riverside Community College District, at the February 2019 Board of Directors meeting, the board authorized the implementation of a 5-year Go-Pass program with RCCD. And for that program to occur, the students at each college were required to vote on a referendum to establish a student transportation fee, which I discussed earlier. And a simple majority of those who vote is required for passage. Students at all 3 colleges did vote on the 5-year fee structure, and that's outlined on page 68 of your board packet. And the majority of the students did vote in favor of the fee. So on June 11, 2019, the RCC Board of Trustees approved the increase in the student service fee, and the Go-Pass fee is part of the student services fee, so that's how we triggered the fee. And then the term of the agreement was from spring of 2020 through the end of fall of 2024. And again, you can see that in your staff report, how the fees were implemented. So to accommodate the original LCTOP program that we're currently doing, the free ride program, in July of 2020, as Kristen mentioned, the board approved amending the agreement with RCCD to suspend the current agreement effective August 1st and reactivate it on July 1st, 2021, which would be coming up soon. And that is the period of the free ride program. So really what we did is we just stopped collecting the fees, moved the agreement out a year, and that's where we are at today. Now, with the board approval today, we need to extend that agreement an additional year and suspend payment or not collect fees through July 31st, 2022. And so we're recommending continuing the suspension period. So you see how that will play out on page 68 of the board packet. And you can see that we're currently in the free ride period, and then we'll start collecting the fees in 2022, and we'll collect those for a 5-year agreement with RCCD. Mount San Jacinto, very similar situation. In February of 2011, the RTA Board of Directors authorized an implementation of, again, a 5-year student pass agreement with MSJC. That agreement was August 1st, 2011 through August 5th, 2016. And again, that program was funded by students' fees of $5 for part-time students and $5.50 for full-time students. Then at the November 2015 RTA Board of Directors meeting, the board authorized amending the agreement and extending it additional 5 years. And we held the same fee structure at that point, the $5 and the $5.50. The term of the extension was August 5th, 2016 through August 5th, 2021. And then during the current LCTOP free ride period, we suspended the collection of fees. So anticipation that the board would approve this item, and just so we were prepared, we did reach out to the college, and knowing that we would need a new agreement effective July 1st, 2021. So pending the board approval through the period that was discussed. On page 69, you can see what we discussed with the college and how the fees at MSJC would play out. I want to point out that the fees that we proposed, the $7 for part-time and $8 for full-time, and that bumps up to $8 and $9, that is the same agreement that we have with the Riverside Community College District. We've thought it important to maintain a similar fee structure between the two colleges. Additionally, with the new agreement with MSJC, there are some provisions. Those are listed in your staff report as well. But the fee would be mandatory for all students. If they leave the college or they cancel their registration, the fee would still be collected from the student. If the student also goes down to 0 units, they would no longer be eligible to participate in the program. The fee would remain fixed even if the board does authorize a fare increase in the next 7 to 8 years, we would maintain the agreement. And we talked about the full-time and part-time students. The part-time students are those carrying below 6 units, and full-time students are 6 or more units. And then we allow students in the winter term to ride free if they're enrolled in the winter term and they have paid the fall fee. So we let them continue to ride through the winter term, and then we reactivate all the students in the spring term. Obviously, for each student, the school will provide a verified phone number. This is required. We no longer accept the student ID cards. They must do it through a mobile ticket that we provide, and obviously we need a mobile phone number for that, so that we will continue to not accept the student ID cards. And then again, they're eligible to ride on all fixed route, including Commuter Link, as well as Dial-A-Ride. I'll quickly move to the universities. UC Riverside, again, it allows the students to ride free on all the fixed route as well as ADA. As I mentioned earlier, UCR also allows the faculty and staff to ride free, and they reimburse us for those trips of a discounted fare of $1.05 per boarding on fixed route, and again with the $45 cap per employee. The current agreement terminates at the end of the free ride period on June 30, 2021. Our agreements with the universities are generally 1 year. They're not long-term agreements as we do with community colleges. Again, they would provide us with a verified mobile phone number and some other usually the student ID, but some identifiable data point that we can use. So we have two things to check to make sure that they're valid. Cal Baptist and La Sierra are very similar to UC Riverside. The only difference is that Cal Baptist and La Sierra universities do not allow faculty and staff to ride free. So this is a student-only program. Other than that, there are no differences between the program, and obviously the terms of the agreements would be the same. So the fiscal impact, as Kristen indicated, staff is estimating that the college student ridership will return to 70% of the 2019 level, resulting in 1,060,455 college student boardings from February 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2022. Kristen also talked about the funding and that we would be eligible for $1.75 per boarding to reimburse ourselves for those trips. And the value of that, just the college students, is $1,855,796 in college-generated fare revenue. It's probably just as important, staff believes the benefits of extending these programs and having this guaranteed revenue source outweighs the financial consideration. If we eliminate the Go Pass and U-Pass agreements, riders abandoning public transit and they may never return. So not only are we getting paid for those trips, but we're keeping the faith in having those students get on the buses as was intended with the program. This item was reviewed at the Board Executive Committee meeting of January 28th, 2021. The committee members unanimously approved and recommended this item to the full Board of Directors today for your consideration. The recommendation today is to approve the Mount San Jacinto College Go Pass program pricing structure and program requirements, and authorize the extension of the current agreements with Cal Baptist University, La Sierra University, and the University of California Riverside through July 31st, 2022, and with the Riverside Community College District through the fall of 2026 term. Chair, that completes my comments.
Thank you very much for the staff report. Appreciate that. Are there any questions or comments from Group 1 on this item?
Yes, I would just like to say, these college programs are so important and they're so beneficial. And it teaches a new generation the valuable asset that mass transit is. And it's a win-win situation, in my opinion. So thank you, Jim, for the good
You're on mute, Chair Krupa.
hit the wrong button. It's so good. It's a win-win situation all the way around. So good staff report and good programs. Thank you.
Great, thank you for your comments. Are
Chair
there any
Swank.
other comments from Group 1?
Chair Swank.
Yes, go ahead.
Bridget Moore Wildemar. So thank you very much, Jim, for this report. We had no idea. So when this idea came about and staff did the hard work of getting this original grant, that, you know, what was going to happen, and we thought it was just going to be this year, but now that we can actually extend this to next year through this pandemic, it turned out to be really good. So we're just really happy we're able to extend it.
Absolutely. Thank you for those comments. Anyone else from group one? Okay, moving on. Any comments or questions from group two? Any questions or comments from group three?
Director, I do, Chairman, I do have a question. This is Ted Hoffman from Norco. And when you refer to the Mount San Jacinto College, are you talking about both colleges or just the one? When you refer to the Riverside Community College District, he did mention the other campuses, but I didn't notice that on the Mount San Jacinto. So are you talking both campuses or just the one?
Director Hoffman, Jim Neepkins again, you're absolutely correct. Actually, they have 3 campuses. They actually have a campus in Banning. So any Mount San Jacinto College student.
Okay, so just for clarification, it's all 3 campuses then?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments from group three? Moving on to group four. Any questions or comments from group four? Okay, hearing none. Are there any questions or comments from the public?
This is Keith. So I have a question.
Chair,
Go ahead, Joan.
I hadn't received any in writing, Chair.
Okay. I'll go ahead and extend that invitation to you, Keith. If you'd like to make a quick comment, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, because I started to see in the fall, I got a question. You said something about ADA, about dial right. How does that affect if you have a RC go pass? Would that mean I'll be running for free on dial right with my RCC, whatever thing? Because I heard you say you mentioned dial right. I didn't understand that one part.
That's correct, Keith, and we'll be happy to work with you to make sure that we get you signed up and you're ready to go. But yes, once you're a college at RCC, and congratulations on that, Keith, we'll work with you to make that happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's exciting, Keith. Good to hear that you're going back to school. Are there any more questions or comments from anyone that's on the line? Okay, hearing none, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve item number 8.
Calamasa moves to approve.
Moreno Valley.
Calamasa first. I heard Moreno Valley second. Are there any no's? And are there any abstentions? Okay, hearing none, that item passes. Thank you very much, everyone. Next is item number 9. It's a 2021-2022 federal and state legislative program. May we please have a staff report?
Thank you, Chair Schwank, Jim Neepkins, members of the board, Jim Neepkins, Chief Marketing Officer. I'll take this item as well. And let me start by saying, as you know, a lot is happening in Washington, D.C. and Sacramento right now. This is the peak season for bills, and especially in Washington, D.C., where they're trying to get the new stimulus bill passed. So some of the items that are even in my staff report have changed, but one thing I want you to note, it doesn't alter the proposed plan or the goals we have as an agency moving forward. Some of the commentary at the beginning may be adjusted, and I'll discuss that here, but it will not in any shape or form change our goals and our objectives as we reach out for our legislative plan. So as you know, we rely heavily on operating and capital funding from the various levels of government, and therefore those actions at the federal and state level have profound effects on our funding and how we operate as an agency. And so ensuring adequate funding is allocated is critical to our mission. But in addition to that, legislation not only affects how we are funded, but it affects our business. If you look at areas of employee labor relations, operating requirements, ability to do planning, it affects a lot of our business, and that's why this plan is so important. So quickly, I'll review what's happened at the federal level. Some of this is in my staff report. Some of it's changed slightly, but back in March 2020, then President Donald Trump signed the Corona Relief and Economic Securities Act. That is the CARES Act, as you are all familiar with. That was a $2.2 trillion infusion of money into the economy. And the FTA, the Federal Transit Administration, quickly allocated some of that money to transit as well. So that was a good source of money for RTA as well as other transit. And RTA did receive some CARES Act funding. Then on December 27th, December 27th, 2020, then President Donald Trump signed the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. Now that was the omnibus spending bill for federal fiscal year 2021, and that was the $2.3 trillion to fund the government. If you remember, prior to that, we're up against a government shutdown, so that was the purpose of that. That included $900 billion in COVID-19 emergency relief, and in addition to transit, I'm sure some of your cities, counties, and special jurisdictions also received money from that. But more importantly, there was $14 billion earmarked for transit agencies, but unfortunately, the way the legislation was written, RTA did not receive any of the money for that at the time. In fact, there was only 12 UZAs representing mostly large transit agencies that were able to obtain funding from that. And then here we are today. President Joe Biden was elected. He's been sworn into office, and as you know, he has his opening bid of $1.9 trillion in COVID relief. It's called the American Rescue Plan. When he started his plan, transit was looking at getting $20 billion. Today it's up to $30 billion, so that's some good news. And it doesn't look like there's any real targets on that money. There's some arguments going on about other issues related to the bill and some of the other earmarks that are in there, but the transit piece appears to be safe, but I caution you, anything could happen, and that could happen tomorrow. But that's good news. The president appears to support public transit, and he sees infrastructure as a real good way to kind of stimulate the economy, get us back to where we're back. So if I go back to September 20 real quickly, then President Trump signed the Continuing Appropriations Act. That's when we were up against the government shutdown. And it was just a short extension to fund the government to get us through the December, and then of course the year followed. But what was important about what happened at that time is that the FAST Act, which funds transit as well, was extended a full year. The FAST Act was a 5-year bill, and instead of just getting a 1 or 2 month extension, we got a full year. And I'm confident this year, of course that's my confidence, but I'm confident this year that we will see another long-term bill. At least I'm hopeful, so we'll see how that plays out. But that bill authorized $12.6 billion for transit in general, so that was some good news. Just some other items on the federal level that we'll continue to monitor, obviously, and we work with, I think you know, David Turchin Associates in Washington, D.C. I'm on the phone quite a bit with them right now. They're really lobbying to make sure that the next COVID relief bill and any other bills that are pending in D.C. Benefit the Riverside Transit Agency. But it appears that the return of what they're calling congressionally directed spending, which you probably know as earmarks, may be returning. In fact, that's part of the debate on the current COVID relief bill. That could be good or bad for RTA, but I just wanted you to be aware of that. We'll continue to monitor other legislation as it affects just our normal day-to-day business. Real quickly at the state level, 2 very important bills passed last year, AB 90 and AB 107. And those did 2 things. One was it eliminated the penalties related to the Transportation Development Act, and where that comes down to is fare box recovery ratio, which you're all very familiar with. Meeting fare box recovery ratio is impossible for RTA right now unless we completely gutted our system. So that gave us some relief, at least through the 2021 fiscal year. It also gave us some flexibility in the state of good repair funds that we can use, which traditionally are for capital, which we were able to use for operating. So Craig has taken good advantage of those. The good news is, looking forward, the governor has introduced his bill through the governor's Department of Finance and the budget bill language, and there's some in that language, and a lot of it's through trailer bills, but in that language, he talks about extending that TDA, eliminating the financial penalties for not meeting fare box recovery, and again, extending the use of that money. And it looks like it could go as far as 5 years, and they're also looking at the Transportation Development Act as a package to see if it's really working the way transit is operating today. So that's really good news. The last item is the California Air Resources Board adopted the Innovative Clean Transit Regulation. The board in January or December, in December, approved our transition to hydrogen fuel cell electric buses. We're going to continue to monitor that legislation to make sure that things don't speed up and that we can still meet the rollout date on that. So to wrap it up, the proposed RTA federal and state legislative program, which is included in your meeting package, establishes the goals and methods that RTA will use to advocate for funding and business environment necessary to meet the transportation requirements of the communities that we serve. As I mentioned, the program is generally presented in the form of principles rather than specific actions, and that allows staff the flexibility to react to grants and other policy concerns that we have. And then, of course, as funding opportunities materialize, staff will use this program to go out and get that money for the agency as needed. There are no direct costs associated with approving the program. This item was reviewed at the Board Executive Committee meeting of January 28, 2021. The committee members unanimously approved and recommended this item to the full Board of Directors for their consideration, and the recommendation today is to approve the proposed 2021-2022 federal and state legislative program. Chair, that completes my comments.
Thank you very much for the very detailed staff report. Certainly appreciate that. Are there any questions or comments from Group 1 on this item? Are there any questions or comments from Group 2 on this item? Any questions or comments from Group 3 on this item? And Group 4, any questions or comments from Group 4?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have one question.
Go ahead, sir.
This has to do with, is there any potential for earmark monies from the federal government coming to help offset some of the costs with implementing the ZEB program, either from the federal level or the state level, given all of the bills, given all of the bills that are going through at the current time?
Director Sinchich, I'll be happy to answer that, and if Kristen wants to chime in, she certainly can, but the answer is yes. If earmarks do come back, the possibility of money being earmarked for that use is a real possibility. But at the same time, there are several grants out there that we're looking at and chasing after that relate to clean air. There's hydrogen fueling facility money that's available. There's money for buses. And these are through, places like AQMD, even CARB, the other clean air agencies. So we will, if earmarks are possible, we're going to go after them. And of course, we're going to look and scrounge for every grant that's available to help us pay for that. So that's an excellent question, Director Sinchich. Thank you.
No, thank you. That's good news. It is a massive chunk of change, and hopefully there is some help in making that program exist and go forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Director. Any other questions or comments from Group 4? Okay, hearing none. Are there any questions or comments from the public?
Chair, I have not received any requests in writing.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone that's currently on this line that would like to make any comments regarding item number 9? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve item number 9.
Urieta moves.
I'll second. On.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any noes? Are there any abstentions? Okay, thank you very much. Item number 9 passes. We're going to move on to item number 10. which is delay board-approved July 2nd, 2021 fare increase to July 1st, 2022. May we have a staff presentation, please?
Great. Good afternoon, Chair Schwank and members of the Board of Directors. My name is Craig Feyner, and for the last time, I am the agency's Chief Financial Officer. In the spring of 2019, the agency completed an independent fare policy study, as the agency had not, at that time, had a fare increase in the previous 10 years. The study was conducted during what we then thought were normal pre-COVID times. Thus, the historical data that was used was very different than what we've been incurring for the past 11 months. The study concluded that a substantial increase was required to provide additional revenue for the agency and stay in compliance with the Transportation Development Act, or TDA, fare box recovery ratio requirement that Jim just alluded to in his staff report. In addition, the consultant recommended that instead of one large increase, the agency would utilize a two-step process, a smaller increase first and another small increase 2 years later. Doing so would help our customers acclimate to the change and to lessen the initial decline in ridership that usually accompanies increases in fares due to price elasticity. The board approved that plan, and fares were initially increased July 1st of 2019, with a second increase slated to be effective July 1st of 2021. 8 months into the first increase, our results were good, and then came the COVID-19 pandemic, which greatly reduced our ridership, generated financial uncertainty, and led to service contraction. Fare box recovery was not a factor, except for the legality of the TDA. So as Jim previously mentioned, the California legislature and governor passed Assembly Bill 90, or AB 90, which exempted transit operators from having to comply with the TDA's fare box recovery ratio requirement through June of 2021, or this current fiscal year. With continued ridership declines and prolonged effects of the pandemic, it's anticipated the agency will not be fare box recovery compliant in the upcoming FY22 year. But FY22 budget development has just commenced, and we can remain optimistic. It's also believed that California, as Jim just mentioned, will extend AB 90 in some fashion. And in fact, the governor's draft FY22 budget included language to support public transit operators and extending AB 90 at least 1 year. Language from the bill and a summary of the steps the governor would take can be found on page 85 and 86 of your agenda. It's also referenced that the California Transit Association, or CTA, has sanctioned a TDA task force that's been in effect for the last several years. Staff participates on that task force, and that task force has been considering changes to the TDA law, but because of its age and enormity, it's mainly been focused on fare box recovery requirements. Given all that background, staff is now recommending deferring the scheduled upcoming fare increase at least 1 year. The agency needs to have ridership demand return during this unprecedented time of mass school closures, working from home, and just general economic chaos. And that's also been touched on in the previous staff reports in today's agenda. A way to encourage ridership growth is not to raise fares again soon. The fiscal impact of the delay is that due to the uncertainty surrounding the pandemic and its prolonged effects on ridership, it's difficult to accurately determine what the fiscal impact would be by increasing it 1 year. However, staff strongly believes that the benefits of ridership by delaying the increase far outweigh the financial considerations such as increased fare revenue and fare box recovery ratio compliance. Staff currently projects that sufficient funding will be available to cover the FY22 budget without increasing the fares. The executive committee unanimously recommended this item to the full board for their consideration. So the consideration before you today is to delay the board-approved fare increase set to take effect July 1st, 2021 to July 1st of 2022. Chair, that completes my presentation.
Thank you very much for the presentation. We definitely have a long road ahead of us with recouping some ridership. So thank you for that. Are there any questions or comments from Group 1 on this item? Any questions or comments from Group 2 on this item? Any questions or comments from Group 3 on this item?
I have a quick question. This is Brian Berkson.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I'm just curious, can the CARES Act funding or potential future funding, whatever comes down the pipeline, Could any of that be used for fare box recovery?
Director, I'll take that. That's a great question, and unfortunately, the answer to that is no, and that is what leads to the CTA's TDA task force. There are only certain revenue types that are allowable for the calculation of the fare box recovery ratio, and in simple terms, that ratio is defined as fare revenue on the top divided by the operating expenses of the agency to provide service. Federal funds are not considered a fare box allowable source. There are a number of different revenue types that are allowed above and beyond, cash and coin at the fare box, mobile ticket costs, things like that, and we utilize those to a great extent. But federal funds are not counted in that calculation.
Thank you. I appreciate the answer.
Thank you, Director,
You're
for your
welcome.
question. Are there any other questions or comments from Group 3? And any questions or comments from Group 4? Okay, hearing none. Are there any questions or comments that was received from the public?
Yes, Chair. I received a request from Keith White, who asked his comment be read by staff.
Thank you. Will you please read Mr. White's comment?
Dear RTA board members, thank you for not raising the fares during the pandemic, but I am hoping that with not raising the fares, RTA will be okay and the state will extend the fare box recovery so RTA does not lose funding. I agree with postponing the fare increase for 1 year. Thank you for your time. Sincerely yours, Keith White, RTA passenger.
Thank you very much for your comment, Keith. Really appreciate that. Is there anyone else on the line that would make a comment now on item number 10?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Leader.
Yes, I agree with the comment that was just given that I am in favor of not having the fare increase go into effect on July 1st, since obviously, in fact, I'm on one of the routes that has been suspended at the present time, so I can't travel anyway. So thank you.
Thank you for that comment, Mr. Leader. Is there anyone else on the line that would like to make a comment? Okay, hearing no more comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve item number 10.
Moreno Valley.
Moreno Valley first, and I need a second.
Corona.
Corona second. Do we have any no's? Are there any abstentions? Okay, thank you very much. That item passes. Appreciate that, everyone. Next is item number 11. This is a special recognition to honor Craig Feyner, Agency Chief Financial Officer, upon his retirement. It's truly an honor for me to be able to chair this meeting today for you, Craig. Today, I would like to recognize RTA Chief Financial Officer Craig Feyner, who after 15 years of service is retiring from the agency. Since his arrival to RTA back in the winter of 2005, Craig has contributed greatly to our success and has made the finance department nothing short of world-class. Craig has been a part of so many big things, from balancing budgets to passing state and federal audits with flying colors to ensuring we reach our state-mandated fare box requirements. Craig has been a game changer at RTA. For the past 15 years, Craig's never let us down. Through thick and thin, Craig and his staff expertly guided RTA's finances with uncommon precision. Simply put, we knew we were in good hands with Craig at the helm. Your last day is March 1st. It's a bittersweet day because while we celebrate your accomplishments and pat you on the back for a job well done, we're certainly sad to see you go. You deserve this retirement. You've been counting money and balancing budgets for 37 years. Seems like you can pretty much work your magic anywhere. Before coming to RTA, you were already making solid financial decisions for the aerospace and defense industry and managing money for manufacturing companies. But you saved your best for last. Indeed, you did save your best for last when you joined RTA. With careful planning, valuable expertise, and unwavering confidence, you and your staff never failed to keep us moving forward. We have 15 years of state and federal audits that say the same thing. RTA makes good use of taxpayer dollars and spends its money wisely. It doesn't overextend itself, and it lives within its means so that it can thrive for the long run. For 15 years, Craig kept us in line. He didn't keep all this expertise to himself, though, not at all. Craig took the time to teach us the language of finance, and we all have learned something from him. So as you prepare for life of retirement, please know how much we appreciate what you have done for RTA. Your legacy will live as an RTA, as RTA continues down a financial path that you've paved for us. Thanks again for all you've done, and enjoy your retirement. And Larry, he has 2 items he'd like to present to you, Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a tradition at RTA that we take a bus stop sign and we write out our well wishes for the retiree. So I'd like to present the bus stops here sign as Craig enters into his retirement. And we present the retiree with a clock so he can watch time pass by during his retirement. So on behalf of the board of directors, unfortunately, you're not here to present these. On behalf of the board of directors, I'll present the clock to Craig. Thanks, Larry. Craig, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Chair Schwank. Thank you, members of the board. I very honestly didn't prepare any comments, so this will probably be pretty brief. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the clock to 5 o'clock. Okay, and you can all see that. That's just my first official act. I would just tell you that you have it right. When I came to RTA, this was going to be my last stop. And it is. And it's been awesome. And I want to thank the board, both previous and current board members. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome experience. It's capitalized on my knowledge and education. And I can tell you that you are going to be in good hands with my replacement, Charlie. And the truth of the matter is, it's going to be a lot tougher to replace Larry. So thank you all for your support and best wishes.
Thank you, Craig. It's certainly fitting that your last stop in your career is at a transit agency, isn't it? All right.
It's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah. So now I'd like to open it up to the board members. If you'd like to say something to Craig, we certainly welcome that. And so that we can hear everyone, I'll go by the groups as we typically do. So is there anyone from group 1 that would like to speak?
Yes, Linda Molina.
Yes.
Go ahead, Director Molina.
Whichever way.
I would just like to congratulate Craig. He has taught me a lot and displays his professionalism at all times, and I'll miss him. I wanted to say a special thank you to Linda for her professionalism in coming forward today when she really shouldn't have. She should have rested, but she's the professional that she is. It must be a Linda thing, but I appreciate her as well. And then my last comment is in Calamasa, we have a new councilwoman and she's in attendance online. Her name is Winona Duval, and I would just like to welcome her. She is my alternate, and so you may see her if I ever miss a meeting. She's also a professional woman, and you will love her if you've not met her yet. And thank you for the staff for always the professional mode that we operate in. It extends to all of us, and it's a great place to be as a representative as well of RTA. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Chair Krupa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Craig, I just want to say congratulations on your retirement. You definitely will be missed. Your professionalism, I love your numbers when you bring them out, and I sometimes thought I was the only person on budget and finance that said, yay, we get to go over numbers. But you've always done such an excellent job and represented RTA so well, and you will be missed. Congratulations, and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and please take care of yourself. I'll miss you very much.
Is there anyone else from Group 1 that would like to
Yes.
say anything to Craig?
Chair.
Go ahead, Director.
Craig, thank you so much for everything you've done for RTA, your hard work. We will not forget everything you did for us. I mean, those audits, to have those clean audits for all these years is impeccable. And I miss our conversations. I had the pleasure of sitting next to you when we would meet there in committees. And so I sat at the end and I just loved our little conversations. And then unfortunately the pandemic, so we couldn't have them anymore. But I really enjoyed getting to know you, and you're going to be missed. And congratulations, have fun.
Thank you. Go ahead, Director Ledesma.
Chair.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Barry. Very briefly, I just want to say thank you for all of your time in these years. And your shoes are going to be very difficult to fit by anybody else. So I hope before you leave, before 5 o'clock, you can train this other person well as much as you did. Thank you. You will be missed.
And I'm sorry, Craig, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I just want to tell Chair Moore, thank you for her comments. She was an awesome chair and she did a lot for this agency, and I appreciated her support.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from Group 1 that would like to say anything for Craig? Mr. Santos, Director Santos.
I have to unmute. I'm new on the group. Craig, you know, I've been there. I used to be an accountant, so I used to be, you know, on the finance. Congratulations, and just like Linda Cooper said, enjoy it, and you know, enjoy the family and the environment and everything. And thank you so much. And then secondly, but the most important is, you know, Linda Krupa, I mean, you're a friend, you're a dear friend. I mean, when I met you a few years ago, you know, I miss you in person. So you better take care, and I'll pray for you. The whole family of mine is, you know, will be with you. So take care, and we'll see you around. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Is there anyone else in Group 1 that would like to say anything?
This is Alberto Sanchez from the city of Banning. I don't know him very well, but you know, I want to extend a big thanks to, you know, for your service, and I'm pretty new to this, but thank you for what you've been doing. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Is there anyone from Group 2 that would like to say anything for Mr. Feyner? All right. Anyone from Group 3 that would like to say anything to Mr. Feyner?
Yes, this is Director Melendrez.
Go ahead, Director.
Thank you so much, Craig, for your work. You know, for the 14 years that I've been on the board, you have made this job look extremely easy. You know, when you look back at the time you've been here, you've gone through one of the biggest recessions of all time here at RTA, with the economic recession we had from 2008 to 2013. And you know, a lot of number crunching over the years. You have made it look flawless. So thank you so much for the work. You make our job a whole lot easier, and I'm sure many other staff members as well. So really appreciate the work you do. You were a constant in the RTA. You were always there when anybody had any questions. So thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your time off and relax a little. Thanks. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Director.
Thank
Anyone
you, Director
else?
Melendrez.
Is there anyone else from Group 3 that would like to make a comment? Okay, moving on to Group 4. Is there anyone in Group 4 that would like to make a comment?
I would. Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm going to miss you a lot. You're one of the most professional people that I've ever been associated with. And the giving of the clock today was very appropriate, because I'm going to miss you in the committee meetings. You and I used to check the clock about every 2 minutes to see how long it was going to last, and we had a bet going about the length of the meetings. And it was a good, fun time. But I cannot say enough about your professionalism and your approach in helping RTA be the best. So as a committee of one and a clock watcher, thank you and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you, Director Welsh. I enjoyed sitting next to you and having you needle me. And for the record, for the board, the record for a committee meeting is 5 minutes. So you got to try to beat that.
Right.
Sometimes. All right. Anyone
Yes,
else?
Mr. Chair, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, a term that is used in professional athletes these days is the GOAT, or greatest of all time. And I think that award should be appropriate for Craig for RTA. GOAT, greatest of all time in what you do. It really aptly describes you and all your contributions. Have a great retirement. I will indeed miss you and your expertise. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was pretty awesome.
Thank you, Director. Anyone else from Group 4 that would like to make a comment for Craig?
I want to take a moment. This is Karen Spiegel. Well, Craig, I'm probably I don't want to say the oldest chairman, but I was probably the most far away, I spent quite a bit of time in RTA in my first years. In fact, those of you who don't know, I was sworn in December, and I was put on the RTA board the same month, and 2 weeks later I was at a meeting, and I was sold on RTA. I never had anything to do with buses, never had any desire, but I certainly jumped in and thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's what kept me coming back. You'll see some of my colleagues don't come to these meetings, but I have such a heart involved with you, Craig, and the rest of the team. It's like family, and when family leaves, it's very, very difficult, and you're leaving the family. It's not fair. And I can't believe you've got 37 years in. You are not old enough to have 37 years in. But you have certainly done a tremendous job on behalf of this agency, and your professionalism, your knowledge will be sorely missed, as well as just Craig himself. You have been a great peer, as well as someone we've worked with. So we wish you great success in your retirement. Hopefully you'll find some new adventures, and remember to always think of us and take the bus.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. It's been quite a ride. And yes, you are probably the most long tenured board member who's on the screen in front of me. And you did a lot for RTA. You've done a lot for the county. And I appreciated your support all the way along.
Craig, I just want to say thanks on behalf of Supervisor Washington also for your service. And I've only been on this board for now a couple years, and it's been just fascinating to watch what a well-run board this is, and getting up to speed by listening to your detailed reports, and all of your knowledge has been really helpful. This is a very impressive organization, and you're a big piece of that. So just thank you for all of your work, and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you, Director. Appreciate that.
Okay, thank you very much, Director. Any other comments from Group 4? All right. Joan, did we receive any comments from anyone from the public?
Yes, Chair. I did receive a request from Keith White, who would ask his comment be read by staff for Craig.
Thank you. Will you please read it for Craig?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Dear RTA board members, I want to congratulate Craig Feyner on his retirement. Craig, you will be greatly missed, and I will especially miss you at the RTA board meetings. During your time, RTA has had its ups and downs, but you were a great guy, and I always enjoyed your smile and enjoyed our small talks before the board meetings. I have done a lot of crying during this pandemic, but I am happy to see you be able to retire. Take care now. Sincerely yours, Keith White, RTA bus rider.
Thank you, Keith. And you're not just an RTA bus rider, you're RTA's #1 supporter, and keep at it.
Thank you, Keith. Is there anyone on the line right now that would like to say anything to Craig before we move on? All right, hearing none. Craig, I'd just like to sort of wrap this up. And I was elected a couple years ago, immediately appointed to RTA, much like Supervisor Spiegel, and a couple weeks later was in a meeting. And before that meeting, it was my duty to sort of do some research on where I was headed. And everything I heard, whether it was from other elected officials or city staff up and down Riverside County, was how professional and what a world-class organization RTA was. And you certainly embodied that for me. It made it really easy for me to hit the ground running and digest everything. So from my heart, I really appreciate everything that you've done for RTA over the years, and for me as a board member the last couple of years to prepare me for these meetings. You'll certainly be missed, but I do know that you certainly have left a legacy and made it easy for others to follow in your footsteps. So certainly appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you, Director Schwank. For those of you on the board, you know how great it is, and whether you chose it or you were appointed to it, you guys are super lucky to be part of the RTA family.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said it, absolutely. Enjoy your retirement. How about a round of applause? All right. Take care, Craig.
Take care, Craig. Oh, look, it's 5:15.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to item number 12, which is board member comments. We'll go through the group assignments again. Is there anyone from group 1 that would like to just have a general comment today?
Yes, Zach, I would just like to thank you for conducting such an excellent meeting. And I may take some more time off.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the well wishes from the director.
Don't push.
Appreciate it very much.
I agree. A good job today, Chair Schwenk.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from group 1? Okay, group 2, any comments, just general board comments today from group 2?
Yes, Vice Chair, this is Jim Steiner with Corona. I just wanted to join my colleagues in sending warm wishes to Chair Krupa and for a speedy recovery. And also, I echo Zach, great job today, buddy. Man, you're a natural. And then Craig, thank you so much for everything you've done. Wish you well and a well-deserved retirement, brother. That's all.
Thank you very much, Director. Any other comments from group 2?
Zach, this is Tim Sheridan from Lake Elsinore. I just want to send my very best to Chair Krupa. You're in my thoughts and prayers. Also, congratulations to Craig and Zach. You did do a great job today. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Director, for your comments. Anyone else from group 2? Okay, moving on. Any comments, board comments from group 3 today?
Yes. For City of Paris, I just have some quick comments. I did want to wish Craig, congratulations, and to also Linda Krupa. We're going to be thinking about you. It's very important. I'm glad you're letting everybody know it does affect all of us, because we all know somebody, whether that person has been public about it or not. So I want to thank you for sharing that. And I also want everyone to, if you knew him or not, but long-term former city council member of the City of Paris, Mark Yarbrough, lost his life due to COVID. He was a council member for a total of 19 years. If you could just keep his family in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Any other comments from group 3? Okay, moving on to group 4. Any general board comments from group 4 today? All right.
I also wanted to say to you, Linda, thank you. Quite often, many of us don't go public and do a learning lesson. Take the opportunity to tell people, especially women, to get checked. Do your annual mammograms. And men, you are not void of this. This is something that is more common in men than you think. We need to keep an eye on ourselves, our bodies, and make sure we take care of ourselves. We've been changing our whole lifestyle. There's probably changes in your life, and your body's feeling different, whether you've added a few, maybe the 19 pounds they call of COVID-19, or some of you have lost it and gotten better shape because you've been home and walking. You've never heard that, Kristen? 19 pounds on the COVID, okay. But we need to be more open and giving little reminders to others. And I have a dear friend, Kathy Acevedo, some of you know, and she, the whole time, really encouraged all of us to make sure we took care of ourselves and catch it early, your chances are so much better and you live a life without much of happiness. And Zach, you really did an amazing job for the first time running this board. And, you know, when you're sitting on the dais, it's a lot easier than being on Zoom because you've got so many other moving pieces, literally. So very impressive. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Are there any other comments from Group 4?
Yes, this is Art Welch. Zach, thank you. You did an outstanding job in managing the meeting. All of us can learn from you like we learned from Linda. And Linda, I can't say enough. Behave yourself. Be good to yourself. Keep telling your story as often as you can, because it's a very, very necessary thing. And it's very helpful to all our people. So God bless you. You're in my prayers.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Any other comments from Group 4 before we move on? All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Next is item number 13, announcements. Mr. Rubio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple quick announcements. As Chair Krupa knows, I've shared with her my family's personal struggles with cancer. My wife is a 2-time breast cancer survivor. She underwent double mastectomy in 2008 and had a recurrence in 2012. And I'm wearing, on behalf of, or in honor of Chair Krupa today, the pink ribbon with the USC symbol on it. And the USC symbol, as many of you know, they say fight on. Well, fight on has a different meaning for me and my family and for Chair Krupa. We're fighting on against cancer. And fight on, Chair Krupa. We're going to beat this. It's an optimistic, positive attitude. It's 90% of the battle. And together we'll beat this horrible disease. And lastly, I'd like to call my brother over here. Stand right here. How lucky were we to have this man work here for the last 15 years? He has the most beautiful mind I've ever met. He's an amazing guy, and I don't think he's quite done yet. He's going to cool his jets for a while, but we are the most blessed transit agency in the world to have had him choose to work here for 15 years. So thank you, Craig. Good luck to you in your retirement. This isn't goodbye. It's just so long. We'll be in contact, and we'll see you as soon as we can take these doggone face masks off. We're huggers, and we would normally hug right now, but we can't do it yet. So thank you, my brother, for working here. Congratulations to you. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone's going out, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rubio. With that, we'll move on to our next item 14, which is our next meeting. As the next meeting of the Board of Directors is scheduled for Thursday, March 25th, 2021 at 2 p.m. And with that, it's truly been an honor to chair this meeting with you all today. You're all an amazing group of people, an amazing organization, and it's just it's a pleasure to be here with you all. I certainly can't wait till we can get back to be in an in-person setting and enough with the elbow bumps and we can hug and be closer again. So with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn today's meeting today at 3:23. This meeting is now adjourned. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Zach.
Bye, Zach. Bye, Linda.
Care.